Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am about to bring Bala up on stage from Netcore, who's going to introduce the next panel. It's a big one. I know a lot of people are excited about this panel. We have the speakers, including this TEDx speaker. I'm not going to steal their thunder. I can see everyone. Jordan's doing neck rolls in the back. Yeah, he's getting ready for a fight. Apparently, all gloves are off for this one. I can see everyone's really excited backstage, so I'm particularly excited to watch this panel. I'm going to turn the camera over to Bala. I'm just going to bring him up on stage now. Hey, Bala.
Hello, everybody. Fantastic. I'm doing great, Andrew. How are you doing?
Yeah, brilliant. Much better than expected. We weren't sure we were going to get here, but here we are, and it's going better than we had planned so far. Touch wood. It stays going like that. So I think everyone's backstage. We're just waiting for Chaitra to go on cam. But if you would like to do the introductions, I am going to slide out now, and I'll be taking
all right.
Watching closely.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Okay, very good. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. Okay, so first of all, thank you everybody for joining us on the very first panel discussion in this Festival of Emails, Netcore Evolutyz Summit, and I'm very, very excited to see you all. Right, I made a lot of arrangements. In fact, I do have a green screen at the back, but unfortunately, I couldn't get the right props at the back. Otherwise, I could have shown something really cool, like a beach or something. But yeah, so this is what it is today, right? But first of all, I hope all of you are safe and vaccinated. If not, please go get that jab. Right. Okay, you're right. Let's kind of get started. The topic for this panel discussion is everything reputation, right? Okay, so there is like digital reputation, brand equity, domain and IP reputation. Overall reputation management is a very critical topic, even in the world of emails. And to discuss this, we have some of the best CMOs and marketers who are going to share their insights on this, right? So let me kind of call upon and introduce each one to you all right? So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chaitra Vedullapalli. She is the co-founder and president of Women in Cloud, and as well as the co-founder and CMO of Meylah, the cloud solution provider and Microsoft Gold partner, an author-in-demand speaker, and change leader. She's also helping to drive conversation about digital transformation and women in tech at the United Nations among the top corporations. Welcome, Chaitra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Really excited.
Fantastic. Very good. Right. So our next guest, Jordan Cohen, is a seasoned marketing executive with expertise in leading companies to industry dominance, VC races, acquisitions, and IPOs. And as a founder of Fox Hill Group, a growth marketing agency, he's a spearhead marketing for startups ranging from launch phase to scale-ups, gearing up for exit events. Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Nice to have you here. And our next guest, Raghavendra Hunasgi. He's a national best-selling author of his book, Unleashing Growth, expert in branding, marketing, product launch, and digital transformation, a Harvard Business School alumnus, social media influencer, author, and marketing leader. And in fact, after successfully selling his first company to a VC, to a value-based VC for multi-million-dollar, he founded ThoughtForce Group, which is kind of right now having hundreds of customers across the globe. Raghav is an active in non-profit and as well as political worlds, as well as in organizations like UN, CRY, and iCanals.org. Welcome, Raghav.
Bala, very nice. Thank you so much. Hi, Chaitra.
Very nice. Awesome. All right. And for the panel host, with storytelling as his core skill, he has built and executed global thought leadership programs, process strategies, and development with his years of experience in B2B email marketing and automation industry. He loves emails, strives to provide the best customer experience through his products. We have with us the global product marketing head of Netcore and the SaaSpreneur, the email guy of Netcore. Tanishq Juneja. Welcome, Tanishq.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you. It's an awesome event so far, and it's amazing to be here. And what a lovely voice, Bala. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you very much, Tanishq. Really appreciate it. Once again, welcome to the event, folks. Tanishq, the stage is all yours. We are just waiting to kind of hear the wisdom here.
Awesome. Thank you, Bala. Thank you once again. Hi, Chaitra, Raghav, Jordan. Thank you for being here on the panel. It's amazing to have marketing leaders with so much of experience on all the side, not just email, to be here and talk about one of the main focus, which is reputation. So we are talking here. We are here to talk about everything reputation, right? And obviously, when we are at Netcore Deliverability Summit, deliverability is a core focus. So I wanted to take this panel a little offbeat, not just talk about IP and domain reputation, or not just talk about reputation related to email programs, but also in general as marketing leaders, what do you focus on when it comes to reputation, right? So we'll start with Chaitra. I would really be interested to know, as a marketing leader, what do you look at? What reputation you look at when you're looking at your marketing initiatives or when you're looking at brand initiatives?
Sure. First is, Tanishq, thank you for inviting me here. It's really exciting. This is a whole new community that I'm got to know, so it's pretty exciting. When I think about like a reputation, I really think about the brand value. What's the brand that creates value for the ecosystem, and what are they serving? And serving, in a sense, is what are they giving access to? Because the marketeers are the gateway, I would say, to get access to solutions or to resources, to people, and they make it easy. And as you think about the reputation is, how do you do those outer world and the inner world to come together, and what does that access look like? And if the brand creates value, then people are more gravitated because you make it easy for them to accomplish their dreams, their vision, and their value on this planet. So that's kind of the core. So if I look at Apple, they have a very strong reputation. I don't think I will change Apple iPhone forever because the value they create is ease of use. They create value for me that whenever I need something, I can get it done here. I don't need a computer around me. It is like a supercomputer in my hand. And I look smart, I look cool, and that's my brand, right? And I can associate to a brand, and same thing with BMWs. So if you think about it, associate to a brand and your identity at the end of the day, and it makes it easier.
Awesome. Jordan?
Hey, thanks so much. That was a great answer. Tough to follow. Yeah, I'll say I've spent most of my time working in B2B software, a lot of enterprise sales. So my persona has typically been, chief marketing officer at, Foot Locker or Target or, any of these like kind of mega brands. But I had a very wise CMO who I worked for earlier in my career who said that there actually is no B2B or B2C. It's all marketing to people. Whether you're marketing $1 million or multi-million-dollar database marketing product or a $20 pair of sneakers or whatever, you're still trying to sell to somebody. So I think, for me, when it comes to, great brands, I'm always thinking about differentiation, especially in the context of software. But again, it kind of applies universally. What makes what I'm marketing different, unique in this world of clutter, in this world of so much noise? We look at the Lumascape or the Chief Martech landscape, and it 7,000 logos or 8,000, and I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to buy? How do I make that one logo stand out, right? And often the keys are innovation. So, we just talked about Apple, right? But, same applies everywhere. So innovation, what is different about this company or this product or this platform? It's new. It's better than whatever existed before. And fundamentally what that comes down to, I'll echo the sentiment, is it's going to make your life better, right? Whether it's that multi-million-dollar software or these new tennis shoes, It'll make your life better if you adopt the platform, if you purchase the product, whether that means you're going to become a rock star executive and get a promotion and get a raise, or it means you're going to, get we have Father's Day in the US coming up, June 20th, so you're going to be Father of the Year for buying your kid the best present or whatever, So it's always, I think, about those things. And then lastly, I'll say, I think look and feel. I think that there's been so much talk the last couple of years about demand gen, right? And I love demand gen, I love analytics, I love numbers, but it's been somewhat at the expense of brand. And there's something about a premium look and feel that cannot be understated in terms of its significance. Why do people shell out more for an Amex Platinum card than a Capital One card, right? The card itself even looks better, right? There's just something about exuding that look and feel that I always try to talk to my clients about now that I have my own company as an agency, but even when I was internal as a CMO at big or growing software companies, I would always talk to the CEO about, let's look and act like bigger than we are, right? So that's what I'm thinking about brand.
Awesome. Jordan, I really love this example where you said whether it is B2B or B2C, it's actually you're marketing to people, and for people, you have to be more human when you're communicating to them. So I really appreciate you clarifying or reiterating that here. Raghav, I wanted to know your view on when you look at reputation, what all do you look at?
Sure. Thanks, Tanishq. Firstly, thanks for the opportunity, and like Jordan was also saying, I think it's fun being with all the bright marketeers here, and understanding their perspectives on various things. So I would probably give a few facts before I talk actually about reputation, right? There's a very recent 2021 survey by CMO Asia where they surveyed 200 odd CMOs of the Fortune 500 companies, and all of them rated reputation as one of the top 5 things as their responsibility. So if you are a CMO, you are a marketeer, it's one of the top 5 things in your job description to make sure that you're taking care of reputation management. The second most interesting fact that comes from a very reputed analyst report is 90% of companies are significantly investing at least 30% or more of their marketing budget in their ORM, right? Online reputation management. And this is a big deal. Now, if you look at why are people spending so much on reputation, why is it such a big deal? There is another interesting report which says Tesla demands or Tesla charges its customers 55% more premium only because of the reputation that they have earned in the market. So that is what reputation is for you. I mean, the higher, the better the reputation, the more higher value and higher perception of your brand in the market. So I think with all these, it is very evident that reputation probably has to be the top 3, 4, 5 things in any of the CMO's agenda. And I think I'm glad that we are talking about a topic like this on a panel discussion, right? I mean, everything reputation definitely is a big deal, and I'm excited. So those are 2 cents, Tanishq.
Thank you, Raghav. So amazing. You touched upon online reputation, how people interact and reply to their customers or prospects on social media also matters a lot. Some of the examples when I look at BMW, Apple, all of these are very purpose-driven organizations. Their why comes with what they communicate. So I think that one significant key takeaway, we all can take is that are you able to communicate your why, and is that coming very actively in your conversations? And I think that's where you start. I think reputation is not built, it's not afterthought, it's built from day one, maybe day 0, and that is when you start building from it. Okay, so while we move on and talk about reputation from marketing leader standpoint, I do not want to not touch email program as well. So let me touch a little bit of that. And I wanted to understand, you all have in your careers executed great email strategies and email programs, right? We were talking backstage, and you all have done some amazing work on the email program side, run some of the most profitable email programs. I wanted to know, what have you noticed has triggered a downfall in email reputation? Were there areas you were working upon and you were very cognizant of, but then these were some of the triggers that your email reputation started going down? And we'll again start with Chaitra and go in the same order.
Okay, so first is a great responses on everyone. When we look at like the email, I love email marketing. I think that is like a holy grail for marketeer. Nobody talks about it because it's an insider access to anything that a community needs. So that's kind of how I see. Social media things get out and there's a lot of data mining and a lot of things that are happening. So there's nothing which, if you want to really create that insider access, you need to make sure your audience, your community has a persona that they are coming together, a collective persona. So when I look at emails that we execute, we talk about is the personality of the audience, the personality of who we are trying to reach, and is the personality resonating? So we always say is that person, when we are writing that email, for that one person, whoever that persona is, will it make sense? Will they open it and take action what we want them to take action? Is the access to a resource looks relevant? The second one is a self-promotion. Like, are we doing self-promotion or are we really creating value for the other audience? So when you think about that one, the downfall I've seen is when you bring email marketeers who do not understand audience properly, they have not taken the time to really develop the avatar of who we are sending the email to, and also segment the email list in a structured way of who our audience is and structure it and send it out, then we are seeing is a significant lower opening rates because you're creating a generic email which doesn't have a personality, right? And it doesn't create value. So when people look at it, say, what is this email? It doesn't make sense to me. Delete. That means we have lost our audience persona. The personality of the brand is based on the personality of the community because that's where you're resonating, and the solutions basically amplify their identity when they go in. Like as Jordan was talking about, if you whether wear a shoe or you wear get a food, it's your identity in the market. And if you're not hitting the identity and making the identity come to real life, then usually the email strategies do not really start to fall apart. So it's kind of like, it's not about how many emails, it's about even if you send one email, is it to the right audience, the right action, and the right access? That's kind of how we look at it.
Awesome. I love that point. So sending email with identifying the right persona and building a personality of the email, I think very important. Chaitra, that reminds me of came for an advice during my early days in the career when I started with emails. I have always been in love with emails, and I used to give a lot of free advices. So my friend came in and he said, Tanishq, I'm very disappointed with my open rates, and can you advise me? Is there a better way I can score more? I asked him, what is your current open rates? He said, my open rates are 76%. I said, okay, first you tell me how did you score that, then I may look at, how do we increase that. So I'm just, and I think this guy, why I gave you the example of this friend, because I think he was creating segments. He had a list of 200 to 300,000. He was creating segments which were as good as 800, 900, 1200 or 1000 email IDs. And what happens is maybe he was trying to create personality for each segment, and that's why he was scoring that well. Raghav, what is your view on, in case you have seen any downtrend in the email reputation in at all? I mean, I know you have executed some of the most successful campaigns. So if you ever have seen a downtrend in email reputation, what have been the reasons?
Well, absolutely, Tanishq. So first I wanted to thank you and the gentleman, the host with the beautiful voice, for sharing the wonderful report you guys did. Was it the email benchmark report, study of 50 billion emails?
Yes.
So
Yes,
that I
email
think
benchmark.
that email benchmark report kind of gave me a PhD on the art and science of email, Tanishq. So wonderful job in pulling that off, and
Appreciate it, Raghav.
yeah, and Tanishq, there have been multiple instances, right, where we landed in trouble Maybe because back in those days, I didn't even till I had my hands on that report, I didn't even know what deliverability meant and what is the whole open rate and all of that. So once there was an instance where I used to work for a large IT services company as a CMO, and we were bidding for a project with the North America's low-cost airlines, and we were bidding for a project that was a little over $5 million. This was an ERP implementation, and what happened was, little did we know that there is something called email reputation, there is something called inbox reputation, and all of that. And we sent our RFP response because the response had to be sent via email. We sent it and we assumed that because we didn't get a bounce back notice, we assumed it landed in their inbox. And we waited for almost 2-3 weeks, and then we kind of resent 2 follow-up emails. We never heard from them. And then there was the day where we were supposed to go and meet the decision makers and understand what was the status. And when we went there, we didn't even have access to go in, or we didn't even have access to meet the decision makers. And when we asked what was the reason, we gave probably, at least as per our experience, we gave the best proposal or best costing. They said, what are you talking about? We never got any response from you guys. And we were like, no, we did send. And then we started doing a little bit of homework and then told them the date, the timestamp, and all of that. And guess what? We landed in their spam folder. So this was, look at the loss of opportunity, the loss of reputation, and a deal as large as $5 million just because we never took care of our email reputation. So what we used to do is, our inside sales team used to blast emails. They used to blast 300, 400 emails every day to prospects, and we literally used to spam people. And little did we know that it is going to impact us this way. And that's when we kind of started understanding, how important it is and how critical it is. So I can go on and on where we landed in trouble because we didn't take care of the email reputation well, Tanishq, and unfortunately we didn't know the email guy back then. So otherwise, I think we would have found a way to fix it. But yeah, that's a story that probably I will remember for the rest of my life as a CMO. It was a true embarrassment.
Raghav, you are my favorite CMO from today. Thank you for appreciating our benchmark report, and thank you for that example. Jordan, you have run some of the most profitable email programs, and maybe even at very, very large scale. Some of your emails have been about scoring money and generating a lot of revenues. So have you seen your email reputation taking a toll for certain reasons? If yes, then what were those reasons?
Yeah. I just have to, before I say that, was the number 50 billion emails that were looked at? Yeah, I remember it. Yes, I remember Bigfoot Interactive, so 2002, and we had a big party when we sent our 1 billionth email. So 2002. How things have changed, yeah, in terms of just the volume that's out there over the last 20 years. Yeah, in terms of emails that have hurt reputation, it's been that without getting into technicalities, right? So when you blast from a domain from the first time, to a list that whatever, doing the obvious stuff that will get you into trouble, right? From a brand reputation perspective, in B2B especially, what I've seen, the worst has been, just kind of sending off that one-size-fits-all messaging. And we all get it, too many times now, especially in LinkedIn, right? Our in-mails, right? Hey, I noticed that you're attending the Festival of Email. Let's connect, right? Hey, I noticed that we're in this group together, right? Just that generic thing that that obviously the recipient feels the person put no time or effort into, and is most likely being sent by some kind of robot or was copied and pasted. So it was either copied and pasted by a human being, or it was sent by a robot. In both cases, it was sent by a robot because that person the first time was a robot. They were acting like a robot. They just don't work, and they end up actually negatively reflecting or having a negative reflection on the reputation of the sender, because it shows, right? Again, with the concept of we're communicating, there's a person, there's an actual living human being at the end of every single one of these messages. every 50 billion
True that.
of those emails that were in that report were received by a unique snowflake of a person across the globe, right? Well, they're or multiple times with 50 billion. And, sending that one size fits all just conveys to the recipient, I don't care. I don't really care about you. It's a numbers game. And I'm hoping that one out of the millions of people that I've sent this to are going to open it. That stat about I love the stat, the 76. Oh, darn, my open rate's only 76%. How do I get it to 100? That is such an incredible mindset to have, knowing that like the average open rate or the ideal open rate that we tend to go for as email marketers is like 20%, right? We're hoping that 1 in 5 are going to open, and then a fraction of those people are going to click through. So having that mentality of, I want everybody to open my email, every single person, I find that quarter to be unacceptable, and I want it to be 100% is incredible. And in B2B, the ones that have hurt the most have been when it has just been this one size fits all, just going straight into an automated flow, not looking at people who've signed up, so especially that first communication is so absolutely critical. So whenever anybody fills out a form on my website or my client's website, right, looking at who filled it out and responding to them in a customized way, doing the research. So in B2B, it's often personal, right? So looking at where Raghav went to college, or what he just posted about in his LinkedIn feed, or what his company just did. They just raised money, or maybe he just joined the company a month ago, and saying, hey, thank you for downloading my research report about 50 billion emails, right? I noticed that you're new to the job. It's been 1 month in. Like, I'm sure you're ramping up, but would love to talk to you when the timing is right. Showing that respect, showing that you've done the research to learn about the person. It doesn't take that long, but it communicates so much in terms of the difference between my brand and the brand that just sending, that thank you for downloading the email. Hey, here's a link to my Calendly. Select a time that works for you, right? Not even asking, hey, what are times that, even things like that really peeve me in B2B today. Hey, I'm trying to sell you something. Hey, feel free to look at my calendar and pick a time that works for you, as opposed to, hi, like, what times work for you? What days and times in the next 2 weeks? And I'll accommodate your schedule, and I will send you an invite, right? That's in B2B. And if you just indulge me for just 2 more seconds, on the B2C side, I see it. So Andrew, who's one of the guys running the show, we're friends on Facebook. So all my Facebook friends know that I'm obsessed with my dog, Juju. She's lovely, and my best friend, my hiking partner. I love my wife too, but so I post a lot of pictures of Juju, and we got her 2.5 years ago, and we got onto email lists, right? From the company that sold her to us, a dog walking company, right, or babysitting, puppy sitting, pet sitting services, right? There's one company that just keeps sending us the same email over and over again, which is buy another dog, right? And we'll give you $300 off. And then I get an email 2 days later, $300 off if you buy another dog, limited time only. Hey, a week later, right? Oh, we decided to extend the sale, right? We're talking about a living thing with emotions, right? Like, it becomes a family member. The dog walking, and all these companies, both of these companies, once they make their first sale, to make more money, they want to upsell you. So sell you dog beds or cute little dog vests or this or that, right? I mean, they need to sell you more stuff that kind of enriches your life, enriches the life of the pet, right? So company A is sending me, buy another dog, buy another dog. Like, I definitely don't want to buy another dog. Get the point already, right? So try to, offering more value. The other company is saying, hey, it's Juju's 2-year, it's her birthday, right? Here's some cute ideas for dog birthday parties, right? Oh, it's your wife's birthday, get her or it's Mother's Day, get her like a t-shirt that says best dog mom ever or something like that, right? That is so much more valuable. It gives that other company such a leg up in terms of the reputation with me as a consumer. So sorry, that was long-winded. I wanted to give the B2B and the B2C example, but I think it speaks to what my other speakers here talked to, which is so, the importance of personalization, humanization, speaking to people at the other end of that message is really what will help you with your reputation.
Sure. No, I really appreciate that example, Jordan. I have received maybe at least hundreds of LinkedIn requests stating that, hey, we both are doing this, or we both are marketing leaders. It's like saying, we both breathe oxygen, so let's connect. So, it has been like that. So people don't really look at context. And I think context is extremely important sometimes, even if you are reaching out to a bad list, but you have a good context, you will score great engagement and you will score great reputation. So I love that dog example, by the way. I would like to know which company is doing that so that I can use them in my content next time. Awesome. So as marketing leaders, we all have been worried about numbers. We all have been focused on revenues, driving growth. In middle of all of this, how do you as leaders are able to focus on reputation? Right? Reputation is, I mean, some of the friends I have in marketing, they are like not at all thinking about reputation. Obviously, some are forced to think in the last 12 to 15 months, but large part of them, reputation might not be the core focus area. And growth is definitive focus area for any marketing leader. How do you cut the clutter? How do you, even if you have to take out time and spend money on it, it has to be justified, because it's not going to draw a lot of numbers, it's not going to be attributed to a lot of revenues. How do you focus on reputation at all? Jordan, we'll start with you, and then we'll go back.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, no, I think so this conversation or this question brings to the forefront to me like the value of public relations. If we could divert from email, but I always incorporate PR into my email programs. But I feel that there's been like I said, I feel like a brand got devalued in the face of demand gen, right? Without recognizing that they're actually fundamentally intertwined. And having an exceptional brand, having an exceptional reputation will inexorably help you with your demand generation and actually help you separate from the pack much faster. Every company that I work with, every company that I know of, every marketing executive that I know of, every CEO that I know of wants to do one thing, which is scale with speed. Most people don't like scaling slowly. Right? That's not good for business. It's not good for life. It doesn't make you feel good in the morning when you wake up and say, I'm at a very slow growth company, right?
True that.
And what I was going to say is that, yeah, I mean, there are some elements of, so what I find is that companies with the best reputation, with the best brand, with those standout brands are the ones that really scale with speed. Those are the ones that have that, explosive growth that, they exit within 2, 3, 4 years, right? And don't sit around on the market for 2 decades. And the X factor is often the reputation. And there's some things that are not as easily attributable as the last click on an email message or the last click on a Google search ad. So PR is one of those areas that I feel has been incredibly dinged, incredibly devalued by so many CMOs in today's environment, right? Because they'll look at a article that you get mentioned in, or your CEO is on television, right? Your CEO is on CNBC or Bloomberg West or something like that, but nobody's clicked through from the video to your website, right? Or you can't track it so easily, and therefore, or you're using some kind of attribution software that spits back to you a report quarterly to bring to your board that says, these are the channels that work for you. Google search, email marketing, right? And PR did nothing for you. That your CEO being on CNBC closing bell had absolutely no impact whatsoever. But obviously, we all know that was the biggest thing that probably happened for your company's reputation, right, over the last quarter. So yeah, I think that that's
The
one.
website server could crash after that.
No, well, sometimes they don't. So that's the thing. So every now and then there's there's a Shark Tank thing, right? This chair that I have is for Andrew's making fun of me for cracking my neck before this event, but so I have a bad back. So this thing was on Shark Tank and blew up their website, and I had to wait like 8 weeks for it to come, right? But every now and then there's a press hit that your audience hasn't necessarily seen in real time, and this is where I say that there's the link to email. So working for like a big software company where we're selling our software into the VP of marketing at Foot Locker or Finish Line or Target or Western Union or whatever, right? So the CEO of my company gets onto Closing Bell to talk about the future of digital transformation or whatever, right? And that's at 3:30 in the afternoon. What the hell are the chances that the VP of marketing at Foot Locker is going to be sitting and watching Closing Bell at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Or zero. Because that guy or that girl is at their desk doing their job, right? They're not sitting around watching. The only person watching Closing Bell at that time is maybe like a day trader. Right, somebody at not Lehman Brothers, they went out of business 20 years ago too. Morgan Stanley or UBS or whatever, right? But the value of that appearance and the CEO getting on television or getting in the Boston Globe or New York Times or whatever is still so incredibly valuable. But but it's content that is showing that your company is credible, that it's interesting, that it's noteworthy, that it was worth getting on, that you haven't self-published a book, but, you've been published by this third party that's incredibly credible, and taking that content and proactively pushing it to your target persona, to your target buyer, right? It goes back to that generic note versus the automated note saying, hey, right, instead of just like, okay, buy now, buy the puppy for $300 again this week, or buy the software, please buy the software, please book my Calendly. Hey, look, we were in CNBC today, right? We were in USA Today. We were on the New York Times. We were in the Washington Post talking about this topic that's very relevant to you. And then pushing that out through email. And that could be through an automated message that's very personalized. It could be through a one-to-one message. But taking this content and pushing it proactively, whether it's through email, whether it's through LinkedIn newsfeed or myriad other channels, I think it's so incredibly valuable. It's what I've seen really help separate leaders from the pack and create leaders and category leaders from those that don't invest in some of these intangibles like PR. So I think, dwelling on the last click, giving too much attribution to attribution software, you end up kind of, missing the forest through the trees, right? So really thinking
Absolutely.
big picture, being strategic, getting
That's why you need to. In fact, that's why you need to have a CEO who is a firm believer of marketing. That marketing could do magic rather than, attributing everything to, or trying to attribute everything to something, right? Trying to attribute something to an outcome or to a number. Sometimes marketing is just magic. It creates miracles for you. I mean, I love that PR example.
I had a CEO just ask me once, like, how much revenue do we get per blog post? I was like, what's the revenue of the blog post? And I was like, it's we're creating an experience. We're surrounding our prospect with content, right? To look at it
I'm happy, Jordan, he didn't ask you cost per word in the blog.
Yeah, he basically did. I didn't last long in that job.
Okay, I've seen a great mindset shift in marketers from conversion to conversations, and we're not talking about the CEOs which Jordan just told us. We're talking about CEOs who really believe in email, who really believe in marketing. So we have seen a shift from marketers for focusing on conversion, and now they're focusing on conversations, and this shift has happened in the last 12 months. Have you noticed something similar? What has been your view on that shift? Are you as marketing leaders, have your focus also shifted to conversations rather than conversion? Chaitra, we'll start with you and then go to Raghav.
Sure, sure. Jordan, very interesting insights about the PR and all the strategies. Very insight. But as we look at the last 12 months, the world that we are living in has changed 100%, right? So even the context of the world that we are living in has changed. We were not living in a world where we can work from home every day, 24 by 7. We can do that. World has changed. So is the needs of the people have changed because people are more focused on living healthily. They want to survive one more extra day on the planet. So it's not about like taking the old product and giving to a new audience. The audience has, their needs have changed completely. So that was a big shift that we see. The second thing that we also saw as a context changes is the access for opportunities also shifted because a lot of the automation tools that came in, it was very highly biased. And when you have highly biased technologies, then actually the access to opportunities also shrink. The third one is a lot of the conversation was around inclusion. Are we including everyone? Are we including all types of people? That conversation shifted. And the other one is empathy. Do we have empathy in the conversation? Do we have the empathy for people instead of like just doing that robotic engagement? So when you look at the contextual of the world wants to live in a more inclusive world. However, the technologies are dividers of that inclusion, the way it is leading, whether it's email tools or any cloud tools or any technology, it's dividing the society much faster than we actually know how to put the society back together. So that's a big narrative shift. The second one, if you look at from a woman's perspective, the economic inclusion and empowerment has gone back 100 years ago, right? So we have to rebuild that whole ecosystem, which were like 50% of the population. They are not getting access to opportunities because of the household burden, the children's that they have to take care of. So it's just a lot. So when you think about that, as what we have seen is people want to connect with each other more than listen to somebody what they are talking, right? So the narrative that we were able to shift was doing events online with a networking in focus. What it did was we were able to really look at each individual who was coming, treat them like a human, and really drive the marketing to have the human ingenuity. So the ads, the work, the access, the resources, what we were providing was to make sure the audience felt like we take care of them. So the focus a lot shifted from what are the tactics to what's the community that we are building. How are we building the community? Are we providing them successful assets or resources that they can become successful in the industry? So the conversation focused more for us is shifting into community conversation, making sure everybody has inclusive access to everything so they are not felt like, divided and discriminated. And the third one was, are we empathetic to what they need right now? And do we have the experts to support them in that empathetic relationship? Because some people needed oxygen, like in India, everybody was looking for oxygen and oximeter. And was our community mobilized to do that work? If they didn't, instead of saying we are not a crisis organization, what are we doing? How are we stepping up? Even if it's not a crisis, but how do you step up to make sure people are taken care of? So the emails conversation shifted into more about asking for what we could provide, and here are the resources that we could provide. So it's about them instead of a self-promotion. Like when I see that NASDAQ ring go up and people send me emails like they're on NASDAQ, like, so what? Didn't do any value. It's for you. That's it's a feather in the cap. But what did you do to the ecosystem? And did you create value? Did you serve that billions and billions of people who need access and resources right now? So it's kind of, that was the big shift we noticed.
I love that thing, Chaitra. So you earlier talked about personality, email personality, and now you're talking about the value which we bring to the ecosystem. how do we take care, and how do we be more empathetic and human. I really think that if you stitch all of that together, you are shifting from a mindset of what I need to send versus what they need actually right now.
Mhm. Totally
Raghav, your
agree.
views.
Sure. I think between Jordan and Chaitra, they have covered and touched upon everything. But I just wanted to, so just to give you an example, right? If you want to go see a live example, you can go to a Forrester website. So what is happening to web assets, websites, digital assets today is they want to be more human. They want to be more, they want to cater to audience on what they look at. So the simple example or use case is if you go to the website and say, I am a CMO, everything you see, all the content, all the rich media content, the downloads is all tailored for what a CMO wants to know. They will not throw what a CIO or a CTO wants to know. So conversational bots or conversational AI, conversational web assets is everything on how can I make sure that I engage more thoroughly with my target audience, and how do I make sure that he feels he is able to navigate through and find all the answers that he wants on our website, right? I mean, I can take liberty of all four of us, let's say 15 years ago when we used to browse websites, we used to be lost. How do I find this white paper on this website used to be a challenge, and today everything is just one click of a button, right? So I think the whole world is moving from conversations to conversations, and it's, online is no exception. So
Awesome, awesome. So I think I have seen many great examples of how people have moved from not focusing on numbers right now and saying that, okay, let me send you this, if this helps you or this keeps you warm, then this is what you get. I mean, I really am not looking for transaction right now. They will come as an outcome of what kind of relationship we build with those customers we have. And I think this has given the rise to repeat purchases which have happened in the second half of the year when the pandemic started. The first half people were really struggling, and uh, all the marketers who focused on conversations, they really reaped the benefits after they have built enough relationship. They were getting repeat transactions, so that was an amazing thing to see. We are almost in the end segment, so I although I have a couple of questions, but I'll have to select what I really need to get from you all. So let me start with this. If we had a magic wand and you can change one thing in your email program, what that would be and why? So, I mean, and I know I am trying to sort of stress upon a lot on email, but I want this to be out from, because you all have a lot of experience on what you have on driving email programs. So one thing which you can fix apart from reputation, I'm assuming reputation is given. What will you fix? We'll start with Jordan.
Oh God, the magic one. Yeah. To be able to send the perfect message, the right message at the right time, right? Nah, I don't want to say that. That's what we've been working on for 20 years. And no, I think Raghav just talked about it too, in terms of like the ability today to customize, to ingest data and unstructured data, and really get to understand your customer and actually send them that perfect message based on their predicament. Predicament sounds bad, but their disposition, where they're at right now. Sending them the right message with the right content, with the right offers, and then I think, as Chaitra has been talking about, with the right tone. I'd say the real dream is authenticity. Sending emails that have an authentic voice, that are believable. Riffing off of this social change. Not just
Dig
saying,
that.
but not just saying we care, but showing it, proving it,
Yeah.
right?
Be authentic and genuine in that. Awesome. We have
Yeah.
1 minute each. Raghav, Chaitra. Raghav, will hear from you and then from Chaitra.
sure, I'll keep it in 10 seconds. So if there is one thing that I probably would wish for is to know what time in the day would the CIO or the CMO or my prospect click on open on my email and read it, and how do I increase from probably 30% to 60% on the open rate. I guess I remember reading it in your report. You call it send time optimization or something like that. So If that is something that I can embed as part of my email program, I think it will be phenomenal. Chaitra?
Awesome. I think you did
Yeah.
touch upon spend time optimization. So yeah, AI comes in there. But yeah, Chaitra, will quickly get
Yeah, so
your
Raghav,
magic off.
Raghav, we should catch up. I'll show you some of the tricks of the trade. Maybe that would help you.
Wow,
I
sure.
got it here from 60 to 80% because most of our emails are pretty doing very good. So if I give as a magic wand, I would say for each one of them is to have real clear focus and clarity and invest for 6 months. Whatever you do it for 6 months because that gives you the depth and the breadth of the skills. And the email should be creating a community where you can have conversation, have relationship. That is what will take you to the next level. And you need to have that community who's following you and you're following them. It's a bi-directional relationship. So if your email has that butterfly effect, like I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. No, don't do that. Be very grounded, focused for 6 months with the intention to create a community that creates access for each other and you grow together. So that would be my guidance for anyone. If I have a magic wand, I would do is right now we have a significant community, but if I want to build 100 million people community, I would love to have email as a strategy that can make that happen.
Awesome. I think there's nothing to conclude on that. This is amazing. Thank you, Chaitra, Jordan, Raghav. I loved all your answers, all your examples. It is amazing to have you, and I hope we can connect again later as well.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. It was great to be on the panel. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Chaitra.
Thanks.
First time that we've had
Hey,
you.
thanks, Andrew. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Tanishq. Thank you,
Thank you,
Raghav. Jordan, thank you. Looking forward to the next session. That was an awesome session. Thank you all for your time. I know how busy all of you are. There was loads and loads of value there. So thanks again. And
Thanks, Andrew.
have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Andrew.